Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel, Stitchy Rach. It is Thursday the 6th of May and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch because I love cross stitch. It's Stitch Mania! Hope you are all having a great Stitch Mania. I am. It's been so much fun so far and it's put me on a real start kick. I'll talk more about that later. I'm a bit worried about how much of a start kick I'm on, but maybe I shouldn't because of Mania. It's another beautiful sunny day down here in Kent. We did have some rain yesterday, which was good because it's been so dry. Hasn't been warm, but really dry, and the ground was all getting really hard, and my garden needed the rain. So it is raining. Not it is raining, it has rained, which we needed. I'm filming a little bit earlier than usual. I've just done the school run, dropped my kids off at school. I'm filming a bit earlier than usual because it's local election day here in the UK today. So where I live, we're electing borough councillors, county councillors and a police and crime commissioner. And all I'd say is, if you have a vote, use it. These are the people who make a fair amount of impact on your life, collect your bins, run your leisure facilities, fund your local social care. So if you have a vote, get out and use it. I'm going to walk up to the polling station in the village with the dog and the husband after I've finished doing this. So yeah, fun and crazy times here. Okay, should we get into the stitching? I've got a prop this week. I've got this tray. So we bought this tray last time we went on holiday in France in 2009 because the house we lived in, house we rented, didn't have a tray, which was a bit weird. And that is our thing. We go all over the UK and Europe renting self-catering houses because the age of our children is just easier, and then we end up fitting out their kitchens for them. I've bought salad spinners, knives, chopping boards, trays, although we did bring the tray home. So it's got a nice French hen, but it's got a nice white back, so I thought that would be useful for holding things up against. And I spent this morning cleaning the back of the tray, the things we do for cross stitch. Bit weird. Okay, let's get into it. So when I saw you last week, I'll first talk to you about the things I finished off before the start of May, because I filmed on Thursday last week, even though it wasn't up until Saturday. My stupid rural slow internet means it takes forever to upload things. And so yeah, it took over 24 hours to upload. Wasn't helped by me managing to cancel the upload once. But I'm going to try and keep this shorter today so it doesn't take over 24 hours to upload. Anyway, when I last saw you last week, I was stitching on my Snoopy Afghan blanket, and I was saying I hope to finish that Snoopy pilot motif, this one, by the time Stitch Mania started. Obviously I'm a stitcher, so I completely underestimated the amount of time it would take to stitch. And I also, for various reasons, didn't have as much stitching time as I thought I was going to have last week. So this is where I did get to. I need to take it off the hoop, really. So I did finish his hat, and I got some lines in on his face. And actually that would probably only take me one evening stitching. So I think to get him finished and the back stitching done now. I know I said that last week, but I think genuinely now. So perhaps at the end of May, when Mania is finished, I'll get this square will be my first priority. But I'm having too much fun in Mania to pick him back up just yet. So he will stay in the faceless Snoopy pile for a little while longer. But yeah, plan for the end of the month. So that's where I got to with that one. And then I was also stitching on my Spooky Halloween, and I said I was going to keep that out this week as my kind of out and about stitching because I didn't fancy doing new starts in the car and when I'm waiting for things. So I have, this is Spooky Halloween by Doreen Jones, and it's exclusive to Lakeside Needlecraft, and I will link Lakeside below. But I have kept going with this one. So it's had a bit more attention. Again, just out and about stitching. And I think what this really shows is the progress you can make in not huge amounts of time. This is, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, grabbed here and there while I'm waiting for children. So it's not had evenings of consistent stitching. It's literally just what I can get done as and when I have time. So look, I'm using my tray prop. So there it is. This is where I am. So last week I'd done the top of that house. So as you can see, I've finished the house. I've finished the bats around the house. And I moved down and started doing some of the lettering under the house. You can see the start of the H down there. So really good progress on this again. I think it's probably going to stay out another week. You're going to get sick of this. Because looking at my next week of Mania, I think there's 5 new starts in it. Because of the gaps I have, they're a bit front loaded because I picked up that Lizzie Kate calendar series in the order of the months. So having finished January to July, the back end's still fairly packed with whips because obviously the August to December bit, the bit I haven't finished. So the front half of the month's got more new starts than the back half. So I think I'll keep this out for another week as my out and about stitching. And then towards the end of the month, when some more of those little Lizzie Kate months come into my Mania, I'll take those out because they're not bad out and about stitching. It's a nice high count fabric and they're quite easy to do and not, you know, not on 40 count. It's not silk, it's not intricate colour changes. So I can just hear the dog like shaking his head around. Okay, so that's been my out and about stitching. Right, Mania. Oh, it's so exciting. I hope you're all enjoying whatever kind of Mania you're doing, a Monogamania, a one whip a week Mania, whatever you're doing. Hope you're loving it as much as I am. I am. Oh, it's put me on such a start kick. So, first day of Mania was Saturday, 1st of May. I had a whip from last year for the 1st of May, which was Real Comfort, a Jane Austen sampler by Modern Folk Embroidery. I started this on the 1st of May last year. I think it may have had 1 day stitching since then, but it hasn't had a lot of attention. So this that's what I did on Saturday. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but it didn't get a lot of attention on Saturday because I saw my sister. I haven't seen my sister, I don't know, I can't even remember when I last saw my sister before Saturday, months and months, but I saw her on Saturday, so obviously not huge amounts of stitching time. It was fabulous to see her. Let me move this thread, use my tray prop again. So this is where we got to. So I finished a little bit of this bottom pedestal of the branches and then went along, and this is a house. I started stitching this house. I really hope to get that house finished. That was my plan for the day, but as I said, it wasn't meant to be. It's this house here. And this is the only downside of Mania, isn't it? You're like, oh, I love this, I want to give it some more time, but it's on to the next thing. But it does make you realise how much you love all your whips. It's just finding the time to stitch them all, isn't it? That's the problem. So that's where I got to on the 1st of May. That is stitched in Silks for You Silk, PR011, I think. And if you want to know why, I think go back and watch last week's video and it'll explain to you how I'm a little bit confused about my Silks for You numbers. Okay, so that was the first day of Mania. Second day of Mania was my first new start of this year's Mania. So, it's exciting. So that was in the Sewing Club book. This is a fabulous book. If you don't have this book, go and get it. I mean, I know all Blackbird design books were fabulous, but this one's really good. I decided to do this on the 2nd of Mania so I could jump in on the Blackbird Designs Weekend Sale with Brenda and the Serial Starter. I hope you're okay, Brenda. So jumped in on that. I am stitching this book. It's the first design. It's the Rose Hips and Ivy Drum Pin Keep. And I'm stitching it on, I'm stitching it with the called for threads, which are Weeks Dye Works, but not the called for fabric. I'm stitching this on 36 count Hog's Bristle by Fox and Rabbit Designs, and that's where I got to. That fabric is looking a little bit washed out, so let's get my tray back, see if I can make it look a bit truer. That's a bit truer. It's that more kind of goldeny brown, but I was pretty pleased with my progress on that, and again just loved it. So I think as the Blackbird Designs weekend sale is going to be an ongoing event in the first weekend of each month, I think this is going to come back out for the first weekend in June. I can get a little bit more done, because isn't it lovely? And actually this is my only Blackbird in my whips at the moment. It's funny, isn't it? When I'm lifting that tray up, it makes my skin go really yellow. At least it does on here. That's quite some colour change. Funny. It's funny how it does that. Anyway, that was day 2. And I am trying to put these on my Instagram and make a highlight reel of Mania. And I was doing really well until the last couple of days, and I've just fallen off the wagon a bit. So I'll try and get back on it. So I've got a nice highlight reel of my Mania on my Instagram. Okay, Stitch Mania day 3 was another new start for me, and this was Prairie Schooler. Prairie Schooler book number 40, Band Samplers. And I'm doing this one, which is called Garden Sampler. Because, as you know, my love of the veg patch. That's a pretty cool veg patch there. I'm not sure about that rabbit in there. Not a welcome guest in my veg patch. I was at my neighbour's yesterday with our dogs in the garden, and she was swearing about the rabbits in her garden and how they're digging everything up. Lovely and cute. There's a lot of them around here. And if you're a gardener, not always your best friend. I am stitching this in the called for DMC on 40 count Light Mocha by Zweigart. And I got a little bit of the border done, and then just the top kind of vine or berry motif there. So there's a bit more to do on those leaves. But I got quite a lot of this lattice. It's quite pretty, that border. It's really kind of latticey. It reminds me of a garden trellis. I assume that's what the designers were thinking of, because they're a bit smarter than me about these things. But as I was stitching it, I thought, oh, it really reminds me of a garden trellis, because you can see it on there, but I'd been more looking at the veg patch and less at the border. Anyway, so that's where I got to on day 3. Fold that back up. Sorry, it's another in and out of the project bags, isn't it? In and out of the project bags. Right. Day 4 of Stitch Mania. So day 4 was a whip left over from last year's Mania. So this is a new... I haven't put the chart in the Prairie Schooler bag. Bear with me. If you don't put it all back in now, it's just going to take forever later. Right. Day 4 was a whip that I started in Stitch Mania 2020. It is... I'm going to butcher this again. A Japanese Hirangana sampler. Hirangana sampler? If anyone knows how to say that, please let me know. It's so pretty. Again, by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm stitching this on 40 count Antique White by Zweigart in Another Silks for You. Again, I think it's PR150. And this is where I got to. So, I had done most of the first 2 rows before I picked it up 2 days ago. So, I think I did the last 3 symbols of the top line, the last 2 symbols of the second line, and these 4 symbols on the third line. So, actually, I'm really pleased with how much progress I made there. This had a little bit of action since last year's Mania, but I think it had a couple of days, but not a lot. And these Mania pieces really haven't had a lot of attention because I just had other goals that needed doing. But I really love them. It's just finding that time to get back to them. So that was day 4. Just very pleased with the progress there. I think if I could just find a week or so to get onto this one, it's quite easy stitching and the motifs are quite small, and I think I could just actually knock it out, but it's the time. And then yesterday was day 5 of Stitch Mania, and again a new start, and I started my Luca S kit called, what's it called, where's the name? Why can't I see the name? Oh, there. Etude with Strawberries. This one. I love this. It's so pretty. I'll show you now on the picture I'm holding it up. So I'm generally a middle starter. I know actually a lot of the ones I've shown you I've started in the corner, but in general I am a middle starter. And believe it or not, this is the middle, because there's not a lot of, it's not a lot at the top of it. If you can see, this leaf and this flower are actually quite a lot higher, but it's just a very bottom weighted design. So yes, this strawberry, the bottom of this strawberry is in the middle, so that is what I started with yesterday. I did it with the threads in the kit. It comes with some anchor threads, but I did change the fabric. The fabric in the kit was an 18 count Ada, and I changed it to a 36 count white linen by Zweigart, just because when I have that much fabric that's going to show in the finish, I just prefer a linen. So that's where I got to. So I nearly got that whole strawberry done. It doesn't look like a lot, but there's actually about 6 colours in there. It's a lot of colour changing. It's not full on confetti, but it is, you know, it's a few stitches in each colour and then you're changing. So, but it's so pretty. But it's gonna be with me a while, I think. So that is where I am with my Stitch Mania pieces. Obviously today is day 6 of Mania, but I haven't done any stitching yet, and I actually don't know what I'm going to stitch. It's a new start day, and I haven't really planned the order of my new starts. I'm just kind of grabbing a bag, and it's a bit of a pick and mix deal, so don't even know what I'm going to stitch today yet, which is a bit exciting. I've got some haul to show you in a second, but what I will say about Stitch Mania, and I think partly because some of the haul I'm about to show you, is I've just got on a real start kick. And when I was kitting up my Mania, I could find 10 things I wanted to start, but I was really kind of, so I just banged the tray against the radiator. I was really kind of focused on the goals for the really active whips I had. And starting all these things has kind of diverted my attention. I can feel my attention wandering. I'm hoping by the end of Mania, the new starts will kind of got it out of my system, because I do want to get the goals done, but I also want to start all the things at the moment. And I don't think some of the hauls helped. And I also know that the new Stitching Book Club Little Women design is going to drop end of this month, beginning of next month, and I'm going to want to start that. And so I'm just trying to rein it in and work out when I'm actually going to get some of this stuff stitched, if I do start all the things, and whether it's just better to hold off on some of the other starts, then you can give them the love, or whether I just need to get the start kick out of my system. I shouldn't have this many dilemmas about hobbies, should I? It's ridiculous. Do any of you have dilemmas about hobbies? Let me know in the comments. Thank you to everyone who watched and left comments last week, by the way. It's really lovely. Okay, I'll quickly show you my haul, and then I'll wrap up, because I don't want it to be super long every week, because no one wants to invest a feature-length amount of time with me, and my internet can't take it. So I'm kind of hoping if I keep it to half an hour each week, it's more manageable for you and me and the internet. Everyone's a winner. Okay, so the first bit of haul are things I meant to show you last week, and then because I prattled on for so long, I absolutely forgot to show them to you. So these are my Stitch from Stash, not Stitch from Stash, sorry, House of Stitch and Stash project bags of the month. For various reasons, Rika and I agreed that she could send March and April together. So I only just got my March bag. So this is my March bag. Look how pretty that is. I love that. I'm going to go put something in it after I finish filming, but Flosstube rules, have to show it to you guys first. So squidgy, so well made. Carry handle, fabulous. And I've also got my April bag, and I think because she was sending my March and April together, I hadn't had my March. I think she sent mine a bit earlier than some people. So if you are a member of the House of Stitch from Stash Project Bag of the Month and you haven't got your April yet and you don't want to see it, look away now. But this is the April one. I love this, and it's all gardeny and garden related. So how up my street is that? So I'm going to go and find one of my many garden whips to go and pop in that. Love it. Thank you, Rika. And then next bit of haul is another project bag. So had a bit of a rubbish day one day last week for various reasons that I won't go into, but I also finished my Partridge in a Pear Tree that I showed you. No FFOs this week, too distracted by Mania. But because of that, I treated myself to another Penelope's pocket bag. I had 12 Days of Christmas bag, and after I finished recording this, my Bothy Threads 12 Days of Christmas stitching is going to go in here. It is beautifully made, fabulous fabric. I also bought the matching floss ring. It's beautiful, these lovely black floss rings, and look at that French hen in there, matches the French hen on my prop tree. So that's fab, and a lovely little Teresa Kogut postcard in there. How nice is that? So thank you, Sarah. I'll link Sarah below. Go and check her out, and her lovely UK made project bags are absolutely fab. Absolutely cannot recommend enough. Okay, two more bits of haul. So the first one is the Country Cottage Needleworks sampler of the month. So this is June, and the fabric to stitch it on, which is 32 count, beautiful beige. So I am on the auto ship for this series from Peakside Needleworks. So I have January to May already. This was the latest release. When Sue did the auto ship with the January set, she sent out the threads as well. So I have them all kitted up and ready to go. Don't know when I'm going to get to them, but I have them. And then my last piece of haul. Oh, this is so exciting. And this is part of what has driven the startitis that I am currently suffering. So this is from Our Forest Embroidery, who, oh, I think everyone loves Our Forest Embroidery, don't they? Their patterns and designs are just fabulous, and their threads are fabulous. And this is the thread pack for their new Alice in Wonderland mystery cell. And I'm not going to take it all out the packet, and there's a bit of glare because then they'll all just fall all over the place. But look at those threads. Look how fabulous they are. They're so variegated. So I bought the thread pack to stitch it on 40 count. They're just so pretty. And they came the other day. I know a lot of people are a bit nervous about ordering from Russia. Don't be. They dispatch really quickly. Their communication's great. No problems. I ordered these on the 16th of April and they arrived at some point this week. It was about 2 weeks. They arrived on Tuesday this week and Monday was a bank holiday. So basically 2 weeks from order to being in my eager little hands. The first part of this sale has already dropped. It was released on the 23rd of April, and the second part is coming out tomorrow, the 7th of May. And I'm like, oh, I really want to start it. I really want to start it. The called for fabric is Vintage Country Mocha, which is obviously widely available. I don't actually happen to have any of that in my stash, but I do have some 40 count Picture This Plus Earthen that I think I showed you as one of the options for Snort Stack. So I think I'm going to do it on that because it's a very similar quite mottled beigey fabric to vintage country mocha. So I think that's my plan. And not only did I get the thread pack, I got the needle minders. Oh, a lot of glare on those needle minders. I've only just put them on this envelope so they don't all stick together while I'm showing them to you. So all these 5 needle minders were the ones that accompany the sale. And yeah, I did get all of them because they weren't a lot of money. And I know our Forest needle minders are fab. And these are also just fab. You've got the rose being painted red, Cheshire Cat, Caterpillar, Alice going through the tiny door, and the Drink Me potion. Oh, I really want to start this sale. Anyway, that's my haul. So, I've shown you my Stitch Mania things. I've shown you my haul. I've whittled on to you about how I want to start all the things, and I don't really have time to start all the things. So I think that's kind of all I've got to say this week. I don't know what I'm going to stitch later, which is very exciting. I'll probably stitch some spooky Halloween while I'm waiting for my kids in the car park at school. But otherwise, don't know what I'm starting tonight. I hope you're enjoying your Mania as much as I obviously am. Next week, I should have 5 new starts to show you because that's how my Mania is shaking down. Have a great week. Enjoy your Mania. I think my husband's ready to go and walk up to the polling station now and he's hanging around in the kitchen going, oh, what's she doing? So enjoy the sunshine. Enjoy Mania. Have a good week, Stitchers. Bye.